Alright, welcome back to another adventure here on the channel, and as you can see, I'm not in the woods as usual for metal detecting, but back in the abandoned building where we made some crazy discoveries up here in the attic quite some time ago. So this is basically part 2. Check out the first video if you haven't already. Lots of people commented I should return with a sifter, so that's what I got for today. Alright, just to summarize again, this building was basically used in the 1930s by the Reichsarbeitsdienst, the labor service of the Third Reich up until World War II, and it appeared they used some of the office trash and such as insulation below the floorboards here, so it's very nicely preserved because of the dry environment of course, and super interesting. There were also lots of aircraft parts, weirdly enough, and documents scattered everywhere indicating they were storing some parts for the Luftwaffe at some point. Now, the first video I recorded like 4 years ago, and some things have changed. Building definitely got vandalized some more. Some of the lower floors are just burned. I don't know what happened there, so I don't know how much longer this building has until everything gets ruined here, but I don't think anyone checked out the space beneath the floorboards here thoroughly like I did back then. And yeah, I did return here some months ago in late summer, but it was just unbearable. With this being the attic, of course, all the heat accumulates up here and turns this place in a sauna, so that's why I only searched for a bit and at night. So yeah, just not very pleasant with all the dust here combined with the heat. So before I get going with the sifter here and finish this place once and for all, I'll show you what I found that night in summer. Okay, so I just got my gloves and I'm basically just starting out now again, and look, there's already the first find just laying here right below the floor. Oh, I was about to say it's another stamp with Paul von Hindenburg on it, but as you can see, it's actually Adolf Hitler himself. 40 Reichspfennig was the value of the stamp, and yeah, I haven't found one of these here. That's pretty interesting. Well, good first sign. There's gotta be more Third Reich stuff below the floor here. Okay, so I just double checked if the camera is recording, and I think I'm seeing another gauge over there from a Luftwaffe aircraft. If that really is what I think it is, then we might hit the jackpot once again. I have no idea how I missed this the last time I was here, but maybe I can get you guys in there. Can you see something? Because I can't. But I think it's right there. Yeah, should be. Alright. Okay, I think I got it. Dude, it feels huge. I think it's another tachometer, honestly. Whoa! Oh no! Dang it! It's just the shell, the bakelite shell. Oh, it's actually a boost gauge. That is incredible. Just the shell, unfortunately. That is still an incredible find. The boost gauge from some sort of Luftwaffe aircraft. Maybe the rest is down there as well. I gotta take a closer look here. While I didn't find the rest, some pieces of the gauge emerged from the dust later on, including the dial and a separate part of it. This is what it would have looked like when fully assembled. It basically displays the pressure of the fuel mixture in the engine, and this particular one features a special sector dial. It has movable adjustment markers labeled Dauer for cruise power, Steigkampf for climb and combat power, and Startnot for takeoff and emergency power. I'm not sure why it was disassembled, but it's an interesting piece of German aviation history, and it would not be the last one I found that day. Ooh, look what just popped out of there. That is definitely a Luftwaffe piece as well. Yep. No writing on here, but there's the FL number, so I should be able to identify what exactly this is for. So yeah, pretty cool. Oh, look. Some of these Rotbart packagings are made like razor blades, meaning Redbeard. Probably a very old brand. Oh, look, these are some sort of Luftwaffe parts as well. I think like temperature feelers or something. Yeah, something like that, definitely. Okay, so this is an interesting document. It's about health insurance in the public works sector. Okay, I mean, looks like it's some sort of leaflet. Or maybe, I don't think it's from a newspaper, but oh look. It's kind of sticking together here, but DBK, oh. Wait, isn't this health insurance here in Germany that's still around today? I think it might be. It's definitely from 1937. There's an eagle in the middle. Gesundheitsblätter, so definitely some info about health insurance and that kind of stuff. Okay, well, it makes sense this is here because, well, as I've told you in the last video, this building was used by public administration, so yeah, interesting. An interesting find indeed. So this little leaflet is from DBK, short for Deutsche Beamtenkrankenversicherung, which translates to German Civil Servants Health Insurance. The company actually still exists today. This particular issue dates back to May 1937. And since May 1st, the Labor Day, had been declared a national holiday in 1933 under Hitler, it played a very significant role in Nazi Germany. And as a result, the front page of the leaflet actually features a quote from Hitler for May 1st, 1937. A very striking contemporary detail for sure. I'll show you the translation of that quote right here. The regime clearly used this day to project strength and stage it as a major propaganda event every year. And with spring in full swing with May, the leaflet also includes seasonal health advice covering topics like nutrition, vacations, health retreats and stuff like that. It's definitely a small but very fascinating glimpse into the past. Oh, look at that. Oh man, that is unfortunate. It's another little snippet of some Bakelite from a gauge. Dang it. Oh look, yeah. Oh, that's packaging from a fuel gauge. HE, that's probably for Heinkel or something. Okay. Oh, looks like another cigarette pack right here. 20 cigarettes, Salem. Yeah, I haven't found these here before either. Nice. Something made from metal, yeah. Another one of these things. Still no clue what they are, but probably aircraft related. Definitely is. So it's probably from a Messerschmitt Bf-109, where the early versions still used a pneumatic fuel quantity measurement system, which was later on replaced with an electrical system. But with the pneumatic setup, air was basically pumped into a tube inside the fuel tank, and then the air pressure required to displace the fuel indicated how much fuel remained in the tank, basically. And this small component here was part of the diaphragm control valve, shown in this little concept drawing of the system here. Yeah, I think I just found a matchbox here. Sicherheitszündhalter, so safety matches. Sadly not in a very good condition, but there's the eagle on there, so still a nice little find here. Oh, look. A piece of metal with some writing. Oh, that's nice. Außenluftthermometer or something. So basically the air temperature outside, probably of the plane. Yep, FL number right here. Cool, man. Yeah, so this was an outside air temperature sensor for an aircraft, a very important component since knowing the outside air temperature was vital for systems like weapon heating and de-icing, for example. Now I won't go into too much detail about all of these technical items. They're super interesting, but I'm actually planning to make a whole separate video for all of that. In that one, I'll go more in depth, test some of the sensors and even run a small experiment. So if you're interested in that, or just want to see more relic hunting content, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to not miss any future uploads.
Oh, look at that. Even more cigarettes. Allerfeinste Zigaretten. FK. Looks like Egyptian cigarettes. Yeah, there's the Sphinx, the pyramids. Awesome, man.
So this was actually packaging for cigarette paper, the kind used for rolling your own cigarettes. I also found another one of these green packs, the Eckstein No. 5 cigarettes. Came across quite a few of these in the last video, but it's always a pleasure to find more. The vintage design just has so much more charm than what we have today.
More gauge pots, man. Some bakelite right here. Damn. Well, I can see some more paper, yep. It's gotta be some more gauges there. Dang it. Oh, look at this. Oh, I think it's another one of these air temperature sensor thingies. Yeah, for sure. Oh, wow, that is cool. That is a fuel gauge for an aircraft. It says liter times 100, so basically 200, 400, 600 liters still in the tank. Damn, they went up to freaking 1200 liters. That is insane. Well, I guess they needed a lot of fuel to go wherever they needed to go. That is a cool find, man. Sadly not complete, but I'll take it.
I wasn't able to find out anything about this style. It's huge, unlike most of the fuel gauges, so if anyone knows in which aircraft this was used in, let me know in the comments.
Oh, look at that! Oh, I'm not sure if this is World War II, but damn, it has to be, right? You know, it's basically warning about the voltage in contact with the aircraft sitting in the water. This has to be from World War II, right? Some sort of enamel sign. I mean, it seems to be in such a good condition, I can't believe it. But it's gotta be from the war, right? That is an absolutely incredible find. The condition is immaculate. I mean, considering that all the parts I found so far are mostly related to the Luftwaffe and aircraft, this is probably related to that as well. Damn, incredible find.
So I wasn't able to find much specific information about this sign, but some research suggests that signs like this may have been posted at seaplane bases or naval air stations where float planes or flying boats were moored on the water. It likely warned ground crews not to connect ground power to the aircraft while it was still afloat, since water significantly increases the risk of fatal electric shock. I actually didn't know much about flying boats myself, since they're hardly used anymore today, I believe. But starting in the early 20th century, they were developed to take off from and land on bodies of water. A fascinating example is the Dornier Do X from the late 1920s and early 1930s, which was primarily designed for long-distance passenger transport and demonstration flights. Although it never saw widespread use in the regular airline service, it became famous for its transatlantic promotional flight in the early 30s, which showcased Germany's aviation technology at the time. So it's possible that a sign like this once stood at the air station of aircraft like that. An incredible piece of history for sure.
Look, this is another one of these little cloth patches that would go on the worker's uniform. This one was from Wilhelm, and he was a regular worker here. That is so cool, little personal find. What is this? Oh, this is another US find. Whoa, that's so cool. Look. US Army Field Ration K. Processed American cheese. I still don't know how these American relics ended up here, but whoa, great condition, man. Kraft Cheese Company, General Office, Chicago, Illinois. Whoa, man. Processed cheese. Doesn't really sound like the tastiest field ration, but I guess they were happy they had anything at all. Ooh, I think this bright red bakelite here is from a German butter box or something like that. Have not found one complete yet, but yeah, I think that's a little container where butter was stored. Ooh, look what I just spotted right there. While pulling some dust out here, this little thing popped up. Oh yeah, that's a nice condition gauge. It's basically the cylinder temperature of the engine.
Now at some point I decided to put on these disposable gloves. I guess my thinking was that I have a bit more sensitivity when handling smaller items, but as you'd expect, they tore apart after just a few minutes. I switched back later on, so just ignore that slightly ridiculous sight.
Oh, something here. Kamei for toilet and bath. Okay, that looks like something American again. Made in USA, yeah. Look at that. That's interesting. Oh, look at that. That's some sort of bakelite part. Maybe for a gauge or something. That looks like a super tiny belt hook. Like a mini version of the German World War II hook. Huh, interesting. Look, a little buckle. Probably made from iron, but very nice condition. Okay, this little piece of packaging. Ooh, look at that. It's another part from an aircraft. From some sort of gauge. Yep, there's the FL number. 1944, wow, 3rd of January. That's pretty cool. Oh, yep, that is definitely a Luftwaffe piece as well, I'm pretty sure. Not sure what it was used for, but yep, have found these here in the past as well. Oh yeah, I think I found the nice cigarette pack here. Oh, yeah, for sure. I haven't found these before though. What is that? Kyriazi or something. Yep, Hamburg. Made in Hamburg, but not sure. Oh, Egyptian. Egyptian type of cigarettes. That's cool. Oh, okay. Looks like nothing special. Just a little, I don't know, napkin or something, a towel. With some little patterns going on here. Yeah. Just swapped out the battery of the GoPro and there's definitely some more cardboard stuff here coming up. Just removed a lot of this stone here. Still more of it right here, but I believe below the stone there could be some more paper. Huh. Not paper, but another button. Not sure what it's made from, honestly. Is it bakelite or what? Cool find. Oh, look at that. Oh man, I just thought this was a dog tag. It's definitely something else, but yeah, could be from World War II. It's number 8, I think. Oh, there's some markings on there. I gotta clean this up. Oh yeah, that's what I was looking for. More Luftwaffe parts. Look at that. And I think this is actually part of the fuel pressure gauge from the aircraft gauges.
While this was a decent find, it's worth noting that these dials were, in most cases, radioactive. They were coated with radium paint to make them glow in the dark. That's usually not much of an issue when the gauge is intact and the dial is enclosed, but with it being completely exposed like this, it's definitely not ideal and it's not something I'll be keeping anywhere near me.
Yep, there's a bunch of stuff here, I can feel it. Yep, as you can see, that's... Oh. This time I'm not wearing a mask, so it's kind of hard to breathe, but look at that. Ooh, another US relic. America's Own Match Co. 10 boxes, independent, safety matches, damn. New York City, made in USA. Now that's a very cool piece of packaging. I have no idea how this ended up here, but yeah. Well, sadly the battery of the GoPro ran out, but I just can't stop, man. There's so much stuff in this little compartment, and look what just popped up. It's definitely part from a gauge. No idea what kind of gauge, but well, yeah, definitely the electrical insides of some sort of Luftwaffe gauge. That is damn impressive. Alright, I'll just put you guys to the side here for now. My phone got some battery left, so I'm definitely going to try some more here, but yeah, this is just way too promising to stop now. What the hell is this? Is this Polish? I think it's Polish. What? 28th of May 1945? So this is immediately after the war. What is this? I have no idea. But I think it's Polish.
It's actually not Polish, it's Czech, and I obviously didn't know what it was when I found it, but I had a feeling it was something special. So after translating it, I realized the history behind it is incredibly interesting and also sad. The first thing that caught my eye was the stamp in the top left corner. The word in the center reads Ostrava, which is a city in the eastern part of today's Czech Republic. The surrounding text translates to administration of the labor camp for Germans. So labor camp for Germans, you might think. And no, this is not about POW soldiers, it refers to civilians. To understand this document, we need to look at what happened in Czechoslovakia during World War II. So in 1938, Nazi Germany began dismantling Czechoslovakia, and by March 39 the Czech lands were occupied and turned into the Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia under Nazi control. And during the war, the region became strategically very important for heavy industry and arms production within the German Reich, and many ethnic Germans settled there actually. As the war progressed, President Edvard Beneš, leading the Czechoslovak government in exile in London, drafted decrees intended to regulate the public life in the state once it was re-established after the war. He stated that it would be absolutely necessary to remove the Germans from the Czech lands, which gives you an idea of what awaited the German civilian population living there. When the war ended in 1945, Czechoslovakia was re-established and the political atmosphere shifted dramatically, especially toward the German minority. Anti-German sentiment intensified, and in May 1945, violent acts were committed by parts of the Czech population against German civilians. While some actual Nazis were targeted, many ordinary civilians were also affected. Thousands were killed and hundreds of thousands were expelled from their homes, which were then confiscated by law. The perpetrators were largely never brought to justice, as the new government passed legislation that effectively legalized these acts as retribution. Coming back to the document I found, the authorities placed many German civilian residents in temporary labor camps. They were assigned compulsory work for the city, such as clearing war damage and repairing infrastructure. This system operated in the immediate post-war months. The document appears to be a pass of sorts, a permit allowing the person to leave the labor camp in order to carry out these assigned work duties. The first handwritten notes list the name, date of birth, which appears to be 1898, and the residential address. I'm not very good at deciphering this old style of handwriting, so I can't really say for certain what the name is, but the person was definitely living in Ostrava. The printed text below translates roughly to "is registered and assigned to work necessary for the city. Without the knowledge of the camp administrator, he or she may not be detained by anyone." And at the bottom, the document is signed by the camp administrator on May 28, 1945 in Privos, a district of Ostrava. This find represents another very tragic chapter in the timeline of events surrounding the end of the war, and it really makes you stop and think.
Oh, look. Another Luftwaffe piece. Yep. FL2075-2. Man, these are just always in amazing condition. There's another little, I don't know what it is. I've found so many of these and little mystery objects. More from the gauges, the rings, whole mess of parts everywhere. Oh, look. Another Eckstein number 5. Cigarette pack. Perfect condition, as usual. Love these. What is this? Suppen? Something soup. Little food packaging or something. Oh man, phone's battery is almost dead as well, but Juno! That's a nice pack. I think I found similar ones before from Juno, but these ones are like with golden writing. Look. That's nice. Alright, so this is probably going to be the last find for today. The batteries are running out. Little part from a gauge. Revolutions per minute. So probably from a tachometer. Nice.
Look at these gigantic wasp nests. Damn, I'm really lucky it's winter right now, like -7 degrees. So I don't think they're in there anymore, but in the summer I can imagine this place is buzzing.
Ooh, look at that! Now that is a great find right there. That's a little part from a aircraft gauge. Probably RPM, right? Revolutions per minute. Just goes to show I definitely missed some stuff here last time. Yeah. And all these bits and pieces of cardboard that are scattered around here everywhere used to be packaging material, I believe, for the aircraft gauges and devices they were storing here at some point. Ooh, now that is a great find. Look at that. I have found one of these, or I think several of these, in the last video as well. These are these little test certificates for the speed sensor. You can see the RPMs here, and the RPMs they actually measured with the sensor. Oh, a little signature here as well from probably the person who issued this certificate from the 2nd of August 1944. Now that is a time capsule, man. Oh look, that's from a pen. Only like part of it, but definitely an old pen. Cool. I mean, it does work to go through the dust, and look, there are some items here. Yeah, I found these in the past as well. Something aircraft related, probably. These little rings all the time, no idea what those are from. Anything else? Some glass, no, that's, I don't think that's glass. Ooh, look, and the first one of these little manufacturer tags for the aircraft devices. Oh man, the dust is really killing me, but I think it's worth it with the sifter for sure. You can find all the smaller items, and yeah, look, some pieces of paper you wouldn't see otherwise. Ooh, look at that. Now that's what I'm talking about. That says probably like liter per Stunde, so basically liters per hour. Probably from an aircraft gauge, indicating, you know, how much fuel, how many liters of fuel the aircraft would use per hour with the current speed. So yep, another nice little indicator here. Alright, now I've been busy clearing out this whole area because it's filled with this kind of stone. I think it's slate or something. They must have dumped it, I don't know, maybe after construction, maybe after demolishing an old roof or something for extra insulation, but it's just everywhere, and of course I can't use the sifter like that. But look, there are these cardboard remains amongst it, so yeah, some more paper here. There could definitely be more in there. Big piece of glass. Now I don't know if that's old, probably not. Not sure. Sometimes, weirdly enough, there is like modern junk scattered around, so I don't know. Ooh, look at that, something shiny. Wait, what is that? It looks like some sort of oil filter, maybe? No. It's too small for that. What is that? Is it old? Ooh, look. Ooh, now that is definitely old. Look, it says elektrischer Druckgeber, so it's like a pressure sensor. And FL number. So this has to be like a pressure sensor for a plane? For an aircraft? Damn. Yeah, there's the manufacturing number, the plant number, and of course the FL number. Damn, that is cool. Some pins here for the electrical connection, and this was the pressure input, I suppose. Must have, I don't know, slipped through the cracks here or what? Maybe it was defect and they just wanted to get rid of it. I don't know, but pretty cool to find stuff like this. Okay, so I've just spotted something crazy. I think it is. I'm not sure yet because it's really hard to get in there, especially with the big camera on my head. Wait, let me hold tight on the camera and get you guys in there. Maybe you can see more. Maybe, I don't know. But I think it's another speed sensor. It has to be, right? Right, let me see if I can carefully dig it out here. That looks very, very similar to the one I found last time. Yeah, it has to be, right? There's also some paper here. What's that? I don't know, falling apart. Whatever. There it is. Oh, yes. That is another one. Damn. Now this is exactly what these certificates are for. All this packaging, everything. Look at that. Drehzahlgeber, 121 FL number. Damn. And with the last one I found, you could even turn it here. Let's see. Yeah, it's still movable. That is absolutely insane.
Finding historic aviation relics like this is just so cool. The sensor was basically mounted close to the aircraft engine and rotated at the same RPM, generating an electrical signal. That signal would then be sent to a tachometer like this one, allowing the pilot to monitor the engine speed directly from the cockpit. Again, I won't go into too much detail here, but I'm actually in the process of acquiring some original gauges, so I'll cover everything more thoroughly in the dedicated extra video. Also found the original cardboard box for the sensor nearby, which was a nice bonus.
Ooh, a little bit of paper here. Ooh, swan. What is this? Soap. But it's American again. Now that is very interesting. I found so much American packaging, like the Hershey's tropical chocolate, if you remember from last video, and also when I went here at night in summer. So in the meantime, I did some research and found out the Americans were stationed here briefly, not very long, but basically right after the war. And that's probably how all of this American packaging ended up here. Super interesting. You know, as I said previously, this was an administrative building, so like town halls and stuff were usually taken over by the Americans first when they arrived in the towns. So yeah, definitely makes sense. They were stationed here for some time. Oh, what's this? Coupons. Part of the newspaper again. Okay. Lots of newspaper in this little area here. Love that. Oh, even more packaging. Yeah, I think I found this one before as well. Kamei, toilet and bath, probably soap as well. Nice. But look at that. Oh yeah, that's a bit of a bigger piece right here. Look at that headline. Yanks capture Jap ambassador to Reich. Now that's some dated language, but...
So this piece was most likely from an American newspaper dating to the end of the war in 1945. The headline probably refers to the capture of the Japanese ambassador to Germany, General Hiroshi Oshima, by American forces near the end of the war. Oshima had close access to Hitler and regularly sent detailed reports back to Japan about German military strategy. What he didn't know, however, was that American intelligence had already broken Japanese diplomatic codes. That meant the United States was secretly reading many of Oshima's reports in real time. As a result, the Americans gained highly valuable insight into the German defenses. Oshima was still in Berlin in April 1945, but relocated to Austria as the fall of the city became imminent. Shortly afterward, he was captured by American forces and later transferred to Pennsylvania for interrogation. So this capture is what the newspaper snippet is referring to. Very exciting.
Ooh, look at that. Now I love to find that. It's another little wrapper for a Hershey's tropical chocolate bar. Cool. Part of the American ration kit, I believe. I found one of these here last time and I said I really wanted to try it, and people commented they did not taste great back then. Probably like not a lot of sugar in there, I don't know. But yeah, I still want to try it. Cool little find, definitely. Man, so many of these slate plates makes using the sifter basically impossible. But I have to move them out of the way first. Oh, look at that. Yeah, found this one before. That is a little matchbox for the popular German brand Welthölzer. Yep, some quality German matches. Oh, look at that. What is that? Piece of cloth. Oh, actually an old glove. An old glove. Broken, ripped apart. Maybe that's why it ended up here. Poor little glove. Now look at this. Almost missed this, but this is also very interesting. Little packaging from lemon juice powder. Now I'm pretty sure that was part of the American ration kits as well. I've seen other metal detectorists find them on the Western Front, so yeah, I'm pretty sure, but I've never found one, so that is very cool. What does it say here? New York. Made in New York and ended up all the way here in Germany. That is incredible. What is that? Is it a little Easter bunny? It's missing the ears though. That is cute. Maybe it was some office decoration for Easter here for the Reichslabor Service. Interesting. Now, any idea what this is? There's like a deer on here and it looks like a grip for something. I don't know. I think there's something missing on top here.
Mystery object for sure. Oh, what's this? Ein Pfund Bleichsoda. So, it's bleach, I think, for the laundry. For 10 Pfennig. Probably very cheap. Not sure. But this is interesting. I think this is like for luggage for on the trains. It says von and nach, so basically from and to, and the specific train station, or maybe just for mail and deliveries in general. Here you would put your data, and here the data of the recipient. Pretty cool find. No way. No way, right? There's no way. This is the Bakelite grip piece from a Walther P38, I'm pretty sure. I recognized that immediately. Something like this was the last thing I'd expect in this attic. You know, finding all the documents, aircraft pieces, haven't found any ammunition or stuff like that, and now just a pistol grip? What? Maybe they got rid of it because I think the corner here is broken off. But that is an incredible find. Just imagine, man. Just imagine if the whole thing is sitting down there. Okay, got some more packaging here. Now, what is it? It's from a chocolate factory. So much chocolate wrapper here. Seems like they had a sweet tooth. Kinderpuder? What's that? I think it's like baby powder, right? Interesting, but definitely from the 30s or 40s as well. Now look what I spotted in the sifter here just now. These are the little picture checks I was talking about in the last video. You know, when you would buy the cigarette packs back in the day, you would get some picture checks with them. And if you had a whole bunch of these, you could basically send them in and you'll get the picture, which you could then glue into your collection album. That was basically the whole scheme of the tobacco industry back in the day, to keep you hooked. But it was a nice little gimmick, I'd say. And there were a whole lot of pictures with all kinds of motives, from, you know, political motives, military, all kinds of stuff. And yeah, pretty cool find from the time back then. Alright, some more packaging. Have to be very careful, it's already falling apart. What's this? Don't think I found this one before. Oh, chewing gum. Also American. Beech nut. Okay, that's pretty cool. Chewing gum, cigarettes, and what is this? Cigarettes, chocolate, chewing gum, we got it all. Okay, this is some sort of pill, medicine, I don't know, for respiratory health. Something like that. Definitely something I could use right now with all the dust here. Ooh, I think that is a little stamp. Maybe in nice condition. Let's see. Oops. What? That is not even German. It's also US. That is insane. United States postage. John Tyler. Now, pardon to my American viewers, I have no idea if that's a president or not. 1841 till 1845. Probably 10 cents. How cool is that? Finding a vintage American post stamp in a German building. Now, I've been digging in this area over here for a bit, and there isn't a whole bunch of stuff, which made me even more happy finding this here. Now look at that. This is what I was talking about. You know, when you had some of the picture checks from the cigarette packs, you could
send them in and get one of these pictures. And there's a little description here, which series this picture is from, and yeah. Sadly, it's very broken. I think it's a ticket for public transportation again. What does it say? Yeah, for the Straßenbahn. Man, that is sad. I spotted this little coin here on the bottom below all the dust, but it's from 1949. So basically from right after World War II. I really wonder how this ended up all the way down here. Now look at that. That is also part from the Hershey's rations, I believe. There's like a list. Cocoa, chocolate bars, ration D-type. Yeah, I think I found the little can of these rations before. Oh, I was just thinking it's not worth it anymore. I should just head home. There's just nothing in here, no paper, nothing. And just like that, wow, that's another speed sensor. What? It looks just like the one I found before. My fingers are freezing off, but oh, that's a little motivator. Stuff like this, man. That is really cool.
So that was number 2. Shortly after, I also found one of these original installation manuals that came with the sensor in the little cardboard box, neatly folded and in great condition.
Look at that! Now that is a first for this place. Getting closer to the P38, I think. That's a cartridge, some live ammunition here. I think it's 9mm. Maybe some visible head stamp here. Can't really make that out, but yeah, I think it's 9mm, probably for the P38. Some coins. Just found the little one Pfennig coin from 1949, but I think these are older. Yeah, look at that. The eagle with the swastika. So these are 10 Reichspfennig coins. Very nice. These are the first actual World War II coins I found here in the attic. I believe all the other ones have been from after the war. Alright, found this razor blade just now, and it's in surprisingly good condition. Not sure if they made these from stainless steel or if it's just the dry environment here, but yeah. And it's made in the US again. Damn, that's cool. Alright, so I went on without filming for a little bit because the dust was just killing me, man. I'm going to take a bit time off from the sifter. Stirring up this old dust here is probably very unhealthy, and yeah, I could barely breathe, but I found some cool stuff, so I'm just going to show you the best things from that little sifting session. Now, this here is probably a little cleaning tool for a pistol, I'm pretty sure, because there's actually a German eagle on there, the Waffenamt stamp. So yeah, more indication for the P38, I guess. Piece from some cardboard packaging for Chesterfield cigarettes, so maybe American stuff here again as well. And also always little bits and pieces of letters. This one is handwritten, and as you can see, May 17th, 1945. So right after the end of World War II, which is super interesting. And it's in English, so probably written by an American soldier who just arrived here and, you know, maybe wanted to write home to his family that they won the war and everything as well. So these little bits and pieces are always super cool time capsules. Now this is from a boot, the heel made from iron. Have found it metal detecting before in the past, and this here was really cool. This is the kind of stuff the sifter is useful for, you know. I think it's a cufflink, maybe made from copper, maybe bronze, I don't know, but it's probably very old. It was very deep in the dust, so that's a cool little find. Some more Luftwaffe relics. This one, as you can see, is Vorratsanzeigers, so basically how much fuel is left in the tank. And this one was also some sort of Anzeiger and made by Siemens, so
Yeah, the Siemens was definitely making some aircraft parts back then as well. This one, the little cover for the speed sensor, which we found. Yeah, and this one I just wanted to show you, shaped like one of the gauges. This really reminded me of the pressure gauge I found here last time, which was basically, yeah, about this size. So maybe the packaging for the pressure gauge. And last but not least, this little thing here. Now, just looks like some sort of fragment, but there's actually some text on there. USA EVAP milk. Now I have no clue what EVAP milk is, but it's probably part of the D-ration kit as well, right? Found so much of that ration stuff here, so I'm pretty sure it's from that as well. I'm definitely going to look that up. Alright, so that was basically it. Just a few final remarks about that last haul of finds. The EVAP milk turned out to be evaporated milk, essentially unsweetened condensed milk sold in sealed, heat-sterilized cans so it could last for months or even years unopened. I assume that made it especially useful for the soldiers' ration kits. As for the letter fragment, I did find a few more pieces, but unfortunately I couldn't piece the whole thing together. At first, I assumed it was written by a soldier, but it could just as easily have been a letter sent to the soldier by his family or something like that. One thing is certain, it was written on May 17th, 1945, a Thursday. In total, I actually found even more items. Of course, I couldn't show every single little piece, the video is already long enough as it is. For example, all of these Luftwaffe rings and small bits and pieces accumulated very quickly. Some items I only examined later off camera and decided they were still worth showing. There were also additional documents related to aircraft parts, instructions on how to handle certain devices, model descriptions and similar material. One document really stood out because of the excellent condition, a test certificate for a tachometer. Similar to the certificate for the sensor, this one lists both the target and the actual RPM values, along with the testing date, 1942, and the official department stamp. I also uncovered a few more technical aircraft components, and I'm especially curious about that chrome-plated thing. I couldn't find any information about it, so if you have any ideas, feel free to let me know in the comments. There were also some more civilian items like razor blade packaging, pen accessories, a battery and so on. A few more pieces, probably from the offices again, turned up as well. For example, these calendar pages are very similar to the ones I found in the last video. The December 13th page suggests they date back to the late 30s. On the back you can sometimes find quotes from famous figures, proverbs, or, like in this case, some recipe ideas for the kitchen. Last but not least, another clipping from the American newspaper surfaced. This one discusses the 8th Infantry Division, also known as the Golden Arrow. Interestingly, the lower headline states that they landed in Normandy in July 1943, which is, of course, impossible. They actually landed in early July 1944, so that must have been a printing error. The article then goes on to describe the division's combat actions, including its heavy involvement in the Battle of the Hürtgen Forest, one of the fiercest battles fought by the US Army during World War II. So, that pretty much sums up our little journey through time. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, feel free to leave a comment, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. There's more metal detecting, magnet fishing and plenty of other exciting content coming up this year. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.